There was some discouraging news on Friday. The surplus that was added to the budget 4 years ago to expand the SNAP program, food stamps, was allowed to expire by the Congress. So $5 billion in food benefits was cut from the program. Out of a federal government budget of trillions of dollars, $5 billion is just a drop in the bucket. And I'm sure that the number crunchers on the Hill felt like it's just $5 billion. But then I read a disturbing story about a young mother down in New York, in one of the boroughs, I think the Bronx, has kids from 15 months to 15 years old, recently divorced, single mother, had been working 2 jobs to try to make ends meet. Got laid off from one, now is working in one job, juggling the electricity, juggling the gas bill, juggling the rent bill, juggling things, trying to float from month to month. And that $5 billion cut becomes a very severe cut for her. And a very real problem. It's sad what's going on in our country today. Now, we can look at this from a different angle as well. That's $5 billion removed from the economy of the grocery industry, the grocer industry. And it goes all the way back to people who produce our food, farmers. Removed. Who's going to miss it? Said the happy representatives on their way to a nice big dinner without any worry about where the next one will come from. But this is nothing new. You heard it in the gospel this morning. Blessed, 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 woe, woe, woe. The dichotomy between those that have and those that have not. It's still there. And the problem I see in our country is that division is growing and growing and growing. And there's one thing about Scripture that a lot of people often overlook. It contains wisdom. And that wisdom says when you have a great big divide in society, eventually it's going to do this. It's going to collapse. Because it's becoming so polarized, the 2 poles can't stand on their own. The obvious solution for me is not more federal subsidies. I'm not in favor of the government running the food industry. Why isn't that woman making a livable wage? There's the rub. Why does she have to work 2 jobs and still not make it? And then that one job take it away and still go further down in the debt? Just because she's slinging hamburgers or putting items on the shelf in Walmart, she shouldn't be able to live from day to day. That's an issue of justice that our society needs to address. Now, I've just done it to you. Do you feel it? How hopeless do you feel right now? What in the world can I do about the SNAP program? What in the world can I do to realign our economic and business models in this country so those people at the lowest level of the income scale can have their incomes raised without destroying the whole thing? So what are you going to do? Yeah, see, preachers are good at doing this. So I'll let you walk out the door feeling guilty. That's not me. Here's what we can do. I thought about this and I thought, you know what the world needs? The world needs more saints. If we'd been on our game, we would have said All Saints up there. Because today's All Saints Sunday. And one of the ways that the church got around that was, oh, look at the big guys, Francis, and think of them all, Claire, and oh, there's Jerome, and there's Augustine. We can never be like, no bull. The point of All Saints Sunday is recognizing the power we have engendered to us when we went through the waters of baptism and took on the name Christ. Christ is not passive. Christ changes the world. I didn't say changed. I said changes. I think Jalaluddin Rumi captures what's needed for being a saint in this point. Lovers think they're looking for each other, but there's only one search. Wandering this world is wandering that, both inside one transparent sky. And here there is no dogma, no heresy. There's no reason to get polarized when we're within Christ. The miracle of Jesus is himself, not what he said or did about the future. Forget the future. I'd worship someone who could do that. We live right here, right now. How can I be Christ right here, right now in this moment? And when I go out that door this afternoon and I'm sitting there swigging beers with somebody watching the NFL football, how can I be Christ in that moment? Or when I go to work tomorrow, how can I be Christ in that moment? On the way, you may want to look back or not, but if you say there's nothing ahead, there will be nothing there. Stretch your arms and take hold the cloth of your clothes with both hands. The cure for pain is in the pain. Good and bad are mixed. If you don't have both, you don't belong with us. That's a very important statement. Good and bad are mixed. The sooner I can come to a comfortable acceptance of the good and bad that makes me up, that makes me who I am, the sooner Christ will be revealed within me. The sooner Christ will rise. If I'm courageous enough to take on my sainthood. And the last line. When one of us gets lost, is not here, he must be inside us. There's no place like that anywhere in the world. It's a radical place of acceptance. You and I are the leaven of this world. We grease the wheels. It's not going out on some massive crusade, bonking big corporations in the head, or carrying around the poor on our shoulders. It's being Christ in the midst of the craziness of, well, all the people on food stamps are just lazy, or all those who wanted to vote down SNAP is just heartless and cruel. It's being in the middle of that polarization as a place of calm, as a place of recall, as a place of redemption, in calling our society to the place of justice. It would have said all saints. Doesn't have to. You're already here.